Coach, I know turnovers were a concern early, but these past two games, outside of Jaws, I think 6 turnovers in the last game, these past two games, I think there have been 4 turnovers total out of the rest of your team. How big of a concern was that coming in, and how big of a correlation is the lack of turnovers to success as of late?
Well, I think if you were to look at our offensive efficiency numbers, you'd seen they've climbed and really skyrocketed, and I think a big part of that is doing a better job taking care of the ball. I think we were 45 assists, only 15 turnovers this weekend, so 3-1 there, which obviously you'll take, every time out.
Coach, obviously the offense has been really good in the start of conference play and was good in non-conference play too, but are you worried about at all the fact that you're creating so much offense that there's more to defend and it's limiting?
No, I don't think so. I think when you look at the teams in our league, if you go back and reset when everyone was 0-0 and you look at non-conference results, you'll see there are a lot of really good offensive teams in our league, a lot of really talented offensive players. So there's going to be some high-scoring games. We won our 2 games, I think, by 39 points this weekend. So, the defense was solid. It wasn't as dominant as it was in some games like Southern Illinois or Middle Tennessee, but it was still, I thought, solid, especially in the second half on Saturday. The first 15 minutes of the second half, I thought was really good defensively for us.
You talked a little bit too, following the UT Martin game, you were just wanting some faster starts, and you got that against SEMO. How do you guys work on that in practice? Where do you look to creating a faster start in the offensive scheme?
Well, I thought just the first couple possessions really stood out. It's against SEMO, first possession, terrific execution. Breon hit Tevin for a design 3 there to start the game, and he knocked it in. And then down at the other end of the floor, they were running some staggered screens, and I thought our guys were really locked in. Shaq made a nice play. He was where he was supposed to be and got a big steal that led to a run out there to get us off to a 5-0 start. I liked our focus. I thought we had a sense of urgency to us at both ends of the floor.
Just a bit about your team making second half adjustments. They've really been good all season doing that. Why is that?
Well, I think it's an area our team doesn't get enough credit for. I think we have a very smart team. I think good basketball IQ. I think guys are very coachable, so it makes it a lot of fun every day in practice. And I think we have good leadership. I think Shaq, Ja, and those guys have done a good job at halftime of making sure the right messages are sent and coming out and making the proper adjustments at both ends.
There's usually one team, at least one team, that's a surprise team in the OVC. Eastern Illinois may be that team, 7 out of their last 9 after a slow start, and seem to be a pretty talented team. Tell us a bit about it.
They're playing really well, Neil. Coming back from Christmas, they've won 4 out of 5. The one loss being a down-to-the-wire game at Jacksonville State. They're really shooting the ball well from 3. They do a good job with their motion offense, share the ball. Defensively, they've been solid coming back from Christmas, and so I'm sure they're playing with a lot of confidence. So be a great test for us. They're sitting at 3-1. We need 3 good days of practice heading into Thursday.
The ability that your team has to make plays this year, and you talked about how much fun it is to kind of coach them in practice and work on things with the halftime adjustments, but for you creatively as a coach, drawing up plays, whether it's inbounds or set plays, how much fun has that been for you this year, kind of maybe a little creatively?
Well, I think it's been good for us as coaches because of some of the things Ja creates out on the floor. We've faced a lot of different defensive coverages this year, and so it challenges you as a coach to make sure you have your team prepared for all those different scenarios that you might face. And I think our guys have done a really good job of handling the changing defenses and the different matchups and different coverages that we've seen. So I think they deserve all the credit for that.
Coach, after the UT Martin game, John and Tevin talked a little bit about the design and the dunk, how they were able to kind of read the defense and make a play, make an adjustment. How often do you let your offense and your players kind of create their own scheme versus what you draw up, say, in a timeout or in an offensive set or things like that? How often do you let them just make their own play as they go along?
The whole game. I mean, that's how we want to play. We try to teach some schemes, and there's some strategy behind it, obviously. But we have a elite point guard, and we want him to play with a lot of freedom and creativity out there on the floor. I think we have good balance of perimeter scoring and inside scoring, and I think Ja's done a really good job there of just taking what the defense gives us. The first weekend, we scored 124 points in the paint in the 2 games. I thought this weekend both teams did a better job taking away some of our paint touches for the most part, and we were able to shoot the ball well from 3, and perimeter really scored the ball well in the 2 games.
A little earlier, we were talking about second half adjustments, and you and your staff do an excellent job of making tactical adjustments. But have your players gotten better as time has gone on at making little adjustments in the way they're guarding whoever they're on and those kinds of things?
Well, I think all the credit goes to the players. I think they've come out and done a good job with scouting reports. I think our assistant coaches have been really good with their scouting reports and our game preparation. And then the second half, we've been able to make some minor adjustments, but it's really the players. I thought on Saturday, Will, in the first half, we were overly concerned about the three-point line because SEMO uses it as such a weapon, making 10 a game, that we got out of our we weren't as disciplined as we needed to be off the ball. And I thought in the second half, we got back to the way it needed to be, and I think they scored 15 points the first 15 or 16 minutes of the second half, and that's how we were able to stretch that lead out. So no, I think we have very smart players, good basketball IQs, and they have a good feel for the game to make the adjustments as necessary.
We talked about the personality of this team a lot this year, but recently with all the success, the guys seem like they're having more fun, whether it's a dunk and the guys are raising the roof, or Cowart is doing Rock the Baby after an and one, or jaw dancing. Talk about, from your perspective, seeing this team have so much fun on the court.
Well, it's supposed to be fun, and that's how we want it to be. I love the energy and the passion with which our guys play. I think they enjoy playing together. I think you see the unselfishness, especially the way we share the ball. And they should enjoy it. And these guys have worked hard. And most of them worked hard their whole life to get an opportunity like this, to play at a program like Murray State. And I want them to enjoy every second of it. And it's a lot of fun to coach that way. It's fun to play that way. And I would assume the fans would say it's fun to watch a team play that way.
You talked a lot about this freedom of movement that the team has. I feel like when I'm watching these 5 guys play, whoever is on the court, even Jar or whoever else, it has a Rucker Park kind of feel to it. They're just kind of running through the game and making their movement. Is that fun for you to watch, or to see just kind of explode there on the court?
Unfortunately, it's on my list, Ed, but I have not been to a game at Rucker Park. And it is on my list. I'd like to go there, and also Madison Square Garden. So I really don't have a great comparison there as to how our offense relates to Rucker Park. But I think our guys play with great unselfishness. They share the ball. They pass up good shots to get great shots. I think there's a good balance of inside scoring and perimeter scoring. And all these questions have been very complimentary today, and I do appreciate it. But we've got a lot of getting better to do. We've got to get better defensively. We still have areas we have to get better from an execution standpoint, not only offensively but in special teams. So it's a big week of practice for us. We need 3 good days heading on the road on Wednesday to play Eastern on Thursday night.
This is kind of a cliche, but it does happen at times. You get a stretch where you're playing teams that maybe aren't as highly regarded as the teams you're going to play the next week. Are you at all concerned about?
No, not at all. the way we try to run our program is we talk a lot about toughness, and the way we define it is your ability to focus on the next most important thing. And so we keep things very simple, and for us that's focusing on getting better today in film, learning from Saturday's game, and then going to the practice floor and getting better as a team. And maybe that's cliche and boring, but I think that's the way you build a program and you build a team. And so I don't care who we're playing, we prepare the exact same way. Every day we try to be consistent in our approach on and off the court, and we don't get too caught up in results and outcomes. Try to focus more on that daily process of getting better individually and as a team. And I hope that eliminates a lapse like you're talking about from happening.